welcome back.
Welcome to the Knitter's Gotta Knit podcast. This is stitch number 9.
I'm glad you can remember that because I never can remember what stitch we're on.
Yeah.
So, but this is Sunday, the 19th of
November.
Something. Yeah, November.
I'm Carrie, and on Ravelry, my name is I'm a Knitfomaniac, and on Instagram, it's just Knitfomaniac.
And I am Bags by Awesome Granny on Instagram and Awesome Granny in Ravelry.
And her name is Darlene.
Oh, yeah. My name is Darlene.
So you might wonder why we're wearing like little party hats. We got little... What did we say we would have a party for?
We did say we were going to have a party.
So we're having a party for the Shannon Finishing Sweater Party. It is fabulous, and I will insert pictures. I think with all the comments and everything else that we've gone through, we know that this camera just doesn't focus and unfocus very quickly, but it is just gorgeous.
Thank you.
Just gorgeous.
Thank you. And so the party hats, we said we are going to have a party. So,
so here it is. Here's the party.
It's only 8:30 in the morning on Sunday, or we would have a glass of wine. So, but since it's 8:30, we'll go with the coffee.
Yeah, we still got coffee, so.
But it is finished, and I think it turned out really nice. I'm just so worried that it's going to be too big.
She is a little worried, but I really think it looks good.
I put it on the floor and put Bruce's on top of it, and I mean, I know that's a great way to like measure something. And it is bigger than Bruce's, but it's not as much bigger than Bruce's as I thought it would be. So I'm a little bit happier about that.
And Shannon is larger than Bruce.
He is.
Not a whole lot, but
just quite a bit. I mean, he's really broad-shouldered, and he's...
Okay, now you're making me worried it's too small. No,
oh, God. No, it's not too small. I'm afraid it might be a little big, but
I think too big is definitely better than on the side of too small and too snug. Because he will have clothes on underneath it, and... be wearing it over jeans or, whatever.
And he's a truck driver, and he goes up into Montana and Wyoming with his truck quite a bit. And he lives in the panhandle of Texas, and it gets cold up there, and they get a lot of snow. So I think he'll get a lot of use out of it.
I think he will, too.
So
he's been wanting one of these sweaters since Darlene made her husband.
Yeah.
Sort of like 2 years ago, I think. So.
And so it's done. It's done. I'm so glad it's done.
Again, I will insert some pictures, but it is gorgeous.
That's why we have our cute little hats on.
Yeah. So there's our party. Woohoo!
Yep, I'm gonna go mine.
Yay! Congratulations!
Thank you.
We're so excited.
Thank you so much.
So, besides the big sweater finishing thing, what else have you been up to this week?
Well, we just I got applied for my passport.
Oh, yay! Because, we're going on that cruise in April.
We're going on our cruise, and so I applied for my passport. I was so frustrated because I made an appointment online, like, they say to do. And I went to the post office to get it done, and I did a little check mark that said, I want my picture taken at the post office. I get there, and they're like, our camera's broke. You're going to have to go to Walgreens and get your picture. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I was like leaving work, just... Because the post office is like literally 5 minutes from where we work.
It's very, very close.
So I thought, I told Brenda, my manager, I said, I'm going to run down and do this. I should be back in 20 minutes. And she said, no problem. And I get there and they're like, our camera's broke. I'm like, really? So then when I'm leaving the post office, they're calling me. And they said, Ms. York, you need to bring pictures with you because our camera's broke. And I said, I was just there. I showed up 15 minutes early like the appointment thing says to do. And now I'm going to Walgreens to get pictures, and then I have to go back. So my 20-minute thing turned into about an hour and a half deal. Walgreens was super fast on getting me my pictures, but it was just frustrating that I made the appointment and I still had to, be delayed and stuff. Yeah, but it's done. It's in the mail, and so I'm just waiting on it to come back.
Yay! Yay!
And, besides that, and so I thought, well, since I'm getting a passport, I want Bruce to get one.
Right.
So I'm filling out his application. He still has to go do his, but I was filling out his application, and I called him, and I was like, Bruce, don't hate me, because, we've only been married for 38 years, so don't hate me. I was like, what color are your eyes? And he's like, I don't know. I don't look at my eyes, and he
Apparently she doesn't either.
No, I felt kind of dumb and bad at the same time, and he pulled them out. He went and looked in the mirror, and he was like, "Well, I think they're green." And then he pulled his driver's license out, and he said, "Well, my driver's license says they're blue. Let's go with blue." So, I felt, like I say, I felt kind of bad about that one. But
That's kind of hilarious.
so I said, I should know this. But I told him, I said, "Okay, what color are my eyes?" Thinking he might not get them.
Yeah.
They're green.
And he's right.
Yeah, I know he's right.
He's always right.
So,
He's always right.
but,
Too bad he doesn't watch this for us to say he's always right.
oh, he knows he's always right. And then you gonna leave your hat on? You gonna take it off?
I can take it off.
Okay,
Mine's kind of, it's like coming off.
Kind of biting me under the fat chin, But and so then, what have you been up to?
Well, gosh, I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot going on. Jaime had a colonoscopy a while back. Not this past Tuesday, but I think 2 Tuesdays ago. So shortly after our last podcast. And I got to go there with him, and I got a lot of knitting done. I worked on Paige's socks a little bit, and I worked on my magic brioche hat, which I'm going to show here in a minute on the finished objects. And it was really kind of frustrating. So Jaime hasn't been to the doctor since I've known him, and I've known him for over 10 years. And he's just, one of those guys that isn't going to go to the doctor unless, a limb is hanging off of his body, or maybe the limb's already come off of his body. I'm not sure, but he's, he's a little older than I, and, he's getting to that age where he just needed a checkup. And I think his boys started, he has 2 sons. Jacob is 23 and Aaron is 19, I think. And so it was just time to go get some stuff done. So I think Jacob had been bothering him and saying, "You need to go get it done." And he had a friend that recently had a colonoscopy out in California. And they found some polyps on his friend or whatever, which I think is very, very common to find polyps during a colonoscopy. And so he made the appointment. He saw his doctor. He had a checkup. He's fit as a fiddle. Ticks me off. Nothing wrong. Great blood pressure. A little bit high on the cholesterol, but not as high as me. And they said, "Well, we'll set you up with a colonoscopy." And so his doctor referred him for this colonoscopy. So we had never met this, gastroenteritis doctor, whatever, that's performing the colonoscopy. So he's supposed to be there at 9:30 in the morning. And, you had to prep the day before, which is why he went on a Tuesday, because it's hunting season, so he's out at the lease every weekend, and he didn't want to have to prep Sunday at the lease to have a colonoscopy Monday. So he said, "Let me move it to Tuesday so he could prep on Monday." You have to drink that gallon of crappy water, and
terrible.
Poop your brains out, and so you can be all nice and clean for the procedure. And so he couldn't eat. I talked to him Monday night. He was starving. He's like, I'm just starving. I'm so hungry. And he says, "When we get done with that colonoscopy, take me straight to a taco house. I need tacos right away." So when I went there in the morning, I had already picked up the tacos. I knew what he wanted, so that way when we got out and done, they were in the car and he could have them if he wanted them. I didn't think he'd want to. I said, I don't think you're going to feel that way after the procedure, because you're going to be a little out of it, but I'll have them ready. So we get there and they check us in, and then they send you to another room. In that second room, which is where everybody is pretty much waiting, either for a colonoscopy or I think for an endoscopy. So we're waiting, and we see people coming in after us, getting called to the back, and then their loved one being called to the back because they're finished, and we're still waiting to be called. So Jaime got up one time after about, an hour, and he says, "How much longer is it going to be?" And they said, "Oh, well, are you with Dr. Ramirez?" And ironically, she has the same last name as myself. And he said yes, and "Oh, well, she's running a little bit behind." And so we waited a little bit longer, and then we waited a little bit longer, and then I just felt terribly sorry for Jaime, because we're sitting in this waiting room. He's starving. I'm starving at this point because I haven't eaten all morning, and I got to eat the night before, and he didn't. And all I've had is coffee, and he hasn't even had that. No water, no coffee, nothing. And on the TVs in the waiting room, there's like food shows everywhere. You know, the morning shows are full of food shows. And so I finally go up to the front and I say, is Dr. Ramirez in the building? Like, is she even here? And they said, yes, ma'am. What's your name? I said, it's not for me. And I give him Jaime's name. And she goes, I'm pretty sure he's next on the list. I'll go back and check. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't next on the list because there were 2 women that were there before us that were also waiting for the same doctor. And they called Jaime before those 2.
Wow.
And I think because I said something, you know, and they hadn't said
anything. Well,
anything.
you'd already been waiting for over 2 hours at that point.
I think we were close to 3 hours by the time he got called to the back.
I know. I texted Carrie and I was like, is everything okay? Because I hadn't heard anything from her. And she was like, they haven't even taken him back yet. You know, and every time Bruce and I've ever had one of those, I mean, we weren't having to wait to be called back for like maybe 5 or 10, 20 minutes at the most.
Oh, well, we wish. So,
I know.
I didn't know if I would ever get to see the doctor, but when he was done, they called me to the back, and I could see him laying in the bed, and there was a lady standing next to him, and she shook my hand and found a couple of polyps, and I don't know if you guys know this, but now you get like a picture of your colonoscopy after you've had this, at least at this place. So we've got this piece of paper. It's got like 10 or 12 thumbnails of, you know, pictures and everything. He has a follow-up appointment tomorrow, I think. And you know, she's talking to me about it and this, that, and the other. And it could be 2 kinds of polyps, but it doesn't look cancerous. And
did they remove the polyps when they were in there?
I think they did. I think they removed all of them, and they're sending them to
a lab.
Yeah, to a lab, which is why he's getting the results tomorrow. But she's pretty sure they're not cancerous. But you know, they want to test him anyway, and whatever. And then she said, "Any questions?" And I looked right at her and I said, "Yeah, just one. Is it common for us to wait for 3 hours for you to call him back for a procedure? Because if it is, we're not coming to the follow-up." And she was just like, well, you know, I don't think doctors think that people are going to talk to them that way, you know? And she's like, well, you know, I mean, it's not common, but, you know, you never know what you can come up with in the morning. I mean, somebody could have colitis. She didn't say somebody did have colitis that morning. She just said somebody could. And I thought, there is no scenario on the planet that excuses you from being 3 hours late to a procedure. I'm sorry, there just isn't. And if there was that big of an emergency, then you should have told the patients in the room. I'm telling you, Jaime would have walked out had he not already done all the prep.
Yeah, and that's
and I don't blame him. You don't want to have to re-prep. No. And I mean, he wanted to get it done.
That's terrible.
So when they called him to the back before the procedure, they took his blood pressure and it was a little elevated. And they said, "Oh, well, it's a little elevated." And he looked at him, he goes, "I'm a little frustrated and I'm starving." And they're like, "Yeah, that'll do it." That'll raise your blood pressure.
Yep, that's frustrating.
So that's really the only eventful thing I think I had going on. At least that's all I can think of right now. But
well, you remember on our last podcast, I was telling about the squirrel hamsters, and then Shyla got Peyton this new hamster. Remember?
Well, actually, I think on the last one we only talked about them being rats and they got let go. So they don't know about the bully hamster.
Oh, okay. Well, so after they let freed the rats, Shyla went and bought Peyton a teddy bear hamster. And then Peyton went off to go to her dad's. Oh, and then her and her dad went. Her dad took them to Wolf Creek Lodge or something for her and her little stepsister's birthdays. Well, while she was gone, her hamster died. The little teddy bear hamster died. Well, Shyla and my grandson Trenton went to PetSmart to buy some bedding for Trenton's chinchilla. And while they were there, they were looking at the hamsters, and the lady at PetSmart was like, "Do you need a hamster?" And Shyla's like, "Well, you know, we just had one and it died, and, you know, I was kind of thinking about getting Peyton another one." And they were like, "We have a deal for you."
Well, don't we have a deal for you?
And she was telling her, said, "Do you have to have 2, or are you okay with 1? And Shyla was like, "I'm okay with 1. And she said, "Well, we have this one teddy bear hamster that he can't live with other hamsters because he beats them up.
He's a bully.
He's a bully. And if you want to adopt him, then he will be free." And Shyla asked him, said, "Well, will he be a good pet? Is he only mean to other animals?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, he'll be fine.
Oh,
you know, he's fine.
Great.
He'll be a great, you know, little pet. Just he can't be with other hamsters." And I have a hard time saying bully and hamster in the same, the same words, but, it's kind of like jumbo shrimp. But, so Shiloh was like, well, that's great, save me $10. So they took this hamster home, and Shiloh said that when Peyton got home, she went in to pick him up, and he was very aggressive, for a tiny little rodent. But Shiloh thought, I'm going to give him a few days and maybe he'll get better because he's new to the, chaos at Shiloh's house. Well, Shiloh said the zoo. When Peyton got home, Shiloh said she reached in to get him out, and he was like rolling over in Shiloh's hand to bite her.
Yeah.
And he was just like biting her and biting her and biting her, and Shiloh was like, I put him back in the cage. And she said, I called PetSmart and told them that he was not, he was like the devil. They call him the devil hamster. And Shiloh's like, can I bring him back? And they were like, no, you can't. There's no returns on an adoption. He's your problem now, basically.
Yep, you adopted him, he's yours.
Yeah, and then Shiloh called the other PetSmart in New Braunfels just to kind of tell them the story to see what they thought. And this manager at the other PetSmart said, they should have never let y'all take him. Mm-hmm. They should have kept him and done something else with him, but they never should have let you take him. But under PetSmart policy, we can't take him back. And she told Shiloh, she said, but here's a phone number to a real good PetSmart in Universal City. And it's called Polly's Pet...
It's a pet store.
Pet store. Yeah, Polly's Pet store. So Shiloh called Polly and told her the story, and she was really nice. And she told her, she said, I'll take him, and I will give you like half off on any hamster I have, so your daughter can have a hamster. Said, but before I do that, let me tell you what I will do with him. And Shiloh was like, okay. And she said, I'll feed him to a snake. And Shiloh was like, done. Done and done. We'll be right there. And so Shiloh and Peyton put the hamster in the car, and they went to Polly's, and
snakes gotta eat too.
Snakes gotta eat, and this shop owner asked Peyton, said, are you okay with this? And Peyton was like, yeah, I kind of want to watch. And then she was like, well, the snake's already ate, so you can't watch. But I just want you to know that that's what's going to happen to him. Mm-hmm. And Peyton was like, Peyton, we've never sheltered our kids from the reality of life that, a cow is food, a chicken is food, a pig is food. We've always, they know what, there's a circle of life kind of thing. We're not vegans. And most animals aren't vegans.
No, most of them aren't.
Except cows and, but anyway, then she came home with 2 hamsters, and they're not teddy bear hamsters. The devil hamster was a Russian dwarf hamster. Okay. And so was the one that died. The 2 she's got now are teddy bear hamsters. Mm-hmm. And their name are Grace and Lola or something like that. But yeah, it's been like an ordeal with, the hamsters, things in the house. But now she has 2 hamsters instead of 2 squirrels, and, it's like it's always something.
Always something with that animal house going on over there.
So last Saturday we had, our oldest granddaughter, Kagan, was at the house. And she was asking Bruce, about our family history. What is your background? Her mom's side of the family, she's German and Cherokee Indian, I think. Mm-hmm. And then on Bruce's side of the family, he's English and Viking and Blackfoot Indian. And she told him, she said, oh, that's where the Yorks get their anger issues from. It's the Blackfoot Indians. And she looked at me, she said, Granny, what do you have to contribute to this? Like, what's in your background?
Yeah, what do you got going?
Yeah, what do you got going? I told her, I said, hey, Irish, you need to be happy about that. Because they're the fun people. They're not violent or nothing. They're just like the fun people. So, and then she was saying, that
kids are so cute.
She's a mess. And she told us, she said, Papa, because he has a birthday coming up, and she said, you age really well. She said, us Yorks, we all age well. And then she said, Granny, I don't know about you because you're not a real York, so I don't know how you're going to age. I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to go home or something. But it was just funny. She's a funny kid. So, and cute. Then her little sister, Brinley, I think they did that physical fitness thing at the school. Mm-hmm. And Brinley is an overachiever. I mean, she's like, if you tell her to run a mile, she's going to run like 5. You know, she's just an overachiever. And after this thing they did at school, she like broke the records for all the push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups for boys and girls. And Kagan told her, said, and then the next day she was like, man, Daddy, I'm sore. And Kagan told her, said, it's your own fault. Said, you know, if you have to do 20, do 21, 25, but
you don't have to do 200.
Like, overdo it, you know. so
you got one that's just skimming by.
Yeah,
you know?
And then another one that's like an overachiever. But, you know, speaking of Brindley, she made it again to the motocross finals, state finals.
That's fabulous.
So,
Congratulations, Brindley. Yay.
I think
finals.
it'll be the first weekend in December, I believe.
I think I have a picture of her with her trophy and
yeah.
stuff that I could put on it.
I always send, you know, all of my stuff to carry.
So I can insert it. That's great. Congratulations.
But, and then the only other thing that was with my family was Peyton. Her school, I've never heard of a school doing this, but
I haven't either.
She goes to a public elementary school. It's not a private school. It's a public elementary school. They took their entire 4th grade class camping for a 3-day camping trip
3 days.
during
Spend
the
night.
week.
Yeah, during the week.
Monday through Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Peyton shoots a compound bow, and they had archery there and canoeing and all this stuff. And my son-in-law told her, said, Peyton, now they're going to tell you different ways to shoot this bow. And he said, you know how to shoot a bow. You're not going to agree with them because it's a different kind of bow.
You're not going to argue with them.
Right.
You will agree with them.
Yeah, right. Thank you. And Tim said, just keep your mouth shut and do what they said. And she was like, okay. And so when she got home, she was telling Tim that the instructor didn't know what he was doing because he was trying to make her stand like she was holding a pistol instead of holding a bow. But I kept my mouth shut. And she called Tim and was telling Tim this story. Well, he kind of wasn't understanding her or kind of not listening. I don't know which. But she got off the phone and she told Shyla, she said, Mama, Tim betrayed me. He agreed with that instructor. So Shyla called him back and told him, said, this is what Peyton was saying. And Tim said, oh, yeah, that's not right. And he said, put Peyton back on the phone because my son-in-law works out of town during the week. So Peyton got back on the phone and he told her, he said, that's not the right way to stand. Why didn't you correct him? And Peyton said, because, Tim, you told me to keep my mouth shut. So, but she had a good time.
That's good.
It was good.
That is good.
So.
Well, we've already shown.
Oh, I have one more thing.
Oh, go.
The other day when I was going to the dentist to get my crown replaced, the city of San Antonio gave me a Christmas present.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to me.
She got a ticket.
I did get a ticket.
She got a speeding ticket.
So I called Bruce and I told him, I said, well, I just got a present from the city of San Antonio. And he said, well, how fast were you going? So, but that's all my excitement for the week.
I really have very, very little excitement. I just, I went to a colonoscopy.
At least it wasn't for you.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. Yeah, that's the good thing. It wasn't for me.
So.
It wasn't for me at all. So, so we've shown Shannon's sweater. So I'm going to do another finished object, which is my hat that I mentioned.
I love it so much.
So this is the Magic Brioche Hat, and I did it with hedgehog fibers in the Film Noir colorway and graphite. This is the DK weight. And I absolutely love it. And what I love almost most about it is that it is
completely reversible.
Completely reversible.
I just think it's
Ta-da!
gorgeous. I think I like that side better.
I think a lot of people like this side better. I'm more of a black. I wear a lot of black, and so I'm usually more of a black person. But I can insert some pictures.
It's
I don't
just
know if
beautiful.
You're seeing this very well, but
It's gorgeous.
Thank you, thank you. And I think that you have a finished object that's not here.
I do. And Carrie will put some pictures in.
I'll put some pictures in.
Besides Shannon's sweater, I finished Kagan's sweater. And when she was down giving me a hard time that Saturday, it was last Saturday, I had it completely finished. She put it on. The sleeves were way too long. So I had to take it apart, unbind the sleeves, and rip them back some. And then I sewed one back in, and it was still too long. I had to take it out and rip them back, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so tired of that sweater. But it looks great on her, and I'm glad I fixed the sleeves for her because they do look a lot.
They do look a lot better. And I do have quite a few pictures. So, well, not quite a few, but I have at least 2 or 3 that I can put on in here. And I don't have any other finished objects, but I know that Darlene does.
I have one more. I finished Peyton's Alviri hat by Tin Can Knit. No. Who's... Woolly Wormhead. And I think it's so cute. It
really is.
It wasn't my favorite hat to knit. I mean, it was time consuming because you do 5 rows of knit and then 5 rows of purl and 5 rows of knit. So it was time consuming.
I think I have some pictures of me modeling this that Darlene took that I'll insert.
But I think it turned out cute.
It is very cute.
It will look adorable on Peyton.
It's very
cute. And
cute.
Shyla, because they share their hats.
Yeah, I love it.
So...
I think that's... Do you have more finished objects?
I don't. Just 3. But I had 3 this time.
Hey, I think that's fabulous.
I know.
I think it is.
I never have any... I never had finished objects.
So she's telling me... we message each other a lot during work. And she's like, I never have any finished objects on the podcast. I'm like, yes, you do. Okay, sorry about that. I think you guys all know that I usually watch my grandson on the weekends. And he wasn't here earlier. But he's here now with Chris watching him out there, so you might hear a little bit of background noise, but I just had to pause for a little bit. But Darlene does have finished objects.
It feels like
she feels like she never has, but she has been working on a really huge sweater for a very long time.
I have, so. and I've been really dedicated to it because I really want. Well, I told Shannon I'd have it finished by Thanksgiving, and that's Thanksgiving's next week.
Yeah, it's not too far. 4 days from now.
So
yeah, so
but.
So what whips you working on?
Oh, right now I'm working on this baby onesie by, I don't know who it's by.
Tina Hogland? 2015, Tina Hogland. It's called Freda Body. It is a paid for pattern. I'll insert maybe a picture of the Ravelry page or whatever, but...
And it looks like a doll clothes. It's so tiny, but it is a 1 to 3 month old.
The sleeves.
Baby size. And it'll be long sleeve, just a long sleeve onesie. And they'll have snaps on it, for the diaper change. So I think it's really, really cute.
And it's Knit Picks yarn.
Yeah, Knit Picks.
Brava Sport.
And it's not the softest yarn, but with a baby, I just feel like it needs to be washable. You don't want to give a new mom, and this is her first child, you don't want to give them something they're going to have to hand wash, because they're going to have to hand wash the baby.
They're not going to hand wash it. The baby will wear it once, and then it won't get.
And then if it does get washed, might get ruined, because But I just think that's really, really, really cute.
It is very, very cute.
So what are you working on?
Well, I should probably get it out of the way. My sloth of a whip. I am loving it. I just have been taking a little bit of a break from it. So I am still fairly confident I'm going to have this finished by Christmas.
Oh, I have no doubt you're going to have it finished by Christmas.
I am a little bit in the middle of it.
We'll save our hats.
Let's see. I don't even know. Okay, here we go.
It's fantastic.
I might have a picture I can insert here, but I have attached the sleeves, and I've done quite a bit since the attachment. I mean, I've done from here to there. If you look from the back, if you see that progress keeper, it's way down here. I mean, I've done quite a few rows. So, but they're long. They're long rows. There was over 300 at one point, and I think I just did a decrease to take me under 300. I think I'm at like 297, but I have quite a few decreases to go, and then I still have the whole collar and button bands to do. But I think he's gonna love it, and I've just, I've been pretty faithful. It's heavy to carry around. It's heavy to have on your lap, and you gotta turn it one way or another. And sometimes I feel like it's on too long of a cord, and sometimes I feel like it's too short of a cord when I go back and forth, because I like to hold it out and see it, which I want a long cord for. But when I'm actually knitting on it, it's easier to have a shorter cord, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and this is, I think I've said before, Malabrigo Brioche yarn. in the Cereza colorway, which I think is Spanish for cherry. And I'm using Haya needles. I don't like Haya sharps. They're too sharp for me. I know everybody else on the planet loves them, but for me they're just a touch too sharp. I like poke my finger and I become a big baby. But I do like their regular steel. So
Are these the steel?
These might be the sharps.
Those look sharp to me.
I have tons of pairs. Yeah, I think they are sharp.
Yeah, they are. They're sharp.
They are, but I usually
love the sharp.
I usually prefer just the regular steel. Yeah, see, that's poking me. Yeah, I'm a big baby, but I'll probably put them on something else. But anyway,
now that you're almost done.
Yeah, no, I'm not almost. I really have a long ways to go. Okay, so I think on my spreadsheet, I think I'm 80 or 79 or 80%.
That's great, though.
So, but you know, it's a big sweater, so I still have like 20% to go. So.
And this is my husband's, and I'm like not near as far as Carrie, but after I finished Shannon's, I pulled this back out, and I'm working on Bruce. This is Bruce's Ranger, and it's also in Malabrigo Rios in the Bobby Blue colorway. And this is the hardest color to photograph.
I will insert a picture. I'll take. I mean, I think even on the camera right now, it's not coming.
But I think that's more true on the camera than any picture I've taken, though.
Yeah, so
it's pretty true.
It is very hard to photograph.
But it's a really pretty blue, and Bruce's favorite color is blue. It matches his eyes.
Now that she knows what colors his eyes are.
So
you're such a dork.
So here's my progress keeper. That I'm going to leave it here until the next podcast so we can kind of see.
Well, don't you want to move it up to see where you did from one podcast to the next?
Oh, yeah, I could do that.
Or maybe add a second progress keeper.
I can move it up.
So then we know for what you've done in like a 2-week time span or whatever.
So, and then these are on my Die Craft blue needles, which I think looks really pretty with the blue.
It looks sweater. Very pretty. Darlene and I pretty much only use Haya or Diet Craft needles, but I know Darlene also uses some Chayogu. I sold my Chayogu set. I might have like 2 or 3 sets of tips that I'll pull out if I'm like desperate and need another needle or whatever. But that's pretty rare because I got a ton of needles.
Okay, put your hat back on.
Where's my hat? Oh, here it is.
Okay, so we started a new project, and it's the Portage sweater.
Remember, I wanted to make this sweater like forever.
And I'm using Madeline Tosh DK
Cosmic
Silver. And
Cosmic
this
Silver.
is mine. I started it yesterday.
I started mine yesterday also, and I have made us a spreadsheet for it. I'll take a picture of this so I can like zoom in on it or get it closer. And it feels great.
Fantastic.
It has a very beautiful honeycomb. I'll get a close-up picture of it. It's a very, very beautiful honeycomb pattern. So I think I mentioned the last time that I was having Carrie, the Creative Obsession, dye me a certain color for mine. And she did.
It's so
and
pretty.
And boy, did she deliver. I mean, the colorway is called Nymphomaniac.
Is it really?
It is. It's called Nymphomaniac.
That's awesome.
And I love having a colorway named after me.
Is she going to sell it?
She said she's thinking about it. I don't know if she will or not, but she said she's thinking about it. So I can also put in a close-up of this. And I love it caked up.
And I have to tell you, Carrie, nothing against you because you're a fabulous dyer. I really tried to talk Carrie out of doing this.
She was worried,
and I was worried because Carrie has tried to have black, silver, and orange dyed 3 different times, and every time it comes back looking like Halloween. And I told her, I said, Carrie, what if you don't like it? Well, I should have known that Carrie would nail it because she's so good with color, and she absolutely nailed it.
I wanted fall. I am a Longhorn fan, which is one of the reasons orange is my favorite color.
And you like Halloween, but you don't want to wear Halloween.
And Halloween is like a bright orange. That's like a Tennessee orange, I wanted fall. I wanted burnt orange, but I didn't necessarily want to give off that football vibe. I wanted that beautiful fall changing of the leaves color.
And she just did it perfect.
And I'll zoom in on this. I am behind already. It's a whole 2 days in, and I'm behind. But I should catch up today because I don't have a whole lot going on today.
And I was telling Carrie, I may get behind and then have to do some major catch up. Next week, I'm going to have company from Tuesday till Sunday night. So, you know, I'm probably going to get behind, but that's just, I mean, it's Thanksgiving, it's the holidays, so.
I also have to mention how spoiled Darlene is.
What?
When she doesn't like a pattern, she's like, I don't like that pattern. You need to rewrite it.
Okay, so this pattern, well, we can't really give away a whole lot in the pattern.
Yeah, I can, and I'm not going to zoom in on this, but she's like, okay, this is ridiculous.
I was practicing it last weekend, and it just was not, it
was off. And I understand where she was off. So I was like, I'll redo the chart.
And then she redid it, and I said, no, I don't like that. I need you to add a stitch here and a stitch here.
And I'm like, all right, anything else?
And she did, because she's awesome. She's the awesome one, not me.
So we've got that going. We're both using the same bag. They're, of course, Bags Bossum granny bags.
This is my last year's Christmas bag.
Christmas boot. So we love them. And thank you, Carrie, Creative Obsession.
Yeah,
you did nail it. I love it. I love working on it. I love the colors, and I love looking at it. And actually, my daughter looked at it, and she said, Mom, that is so you. And I was like, nailed it.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. That's great. I thought you were going to say Paige wants that sweater. And I'm like, our daughters are killing us.
Paige does want that sweater. And I did. She picked a color. I was like, do you want the same color? Because she never wants orange or anything. She's like, no, maybe just the gray. And
did you say thank goodness? Because you only have enough for one sweater's worth.
But then I thought, well, I have to buy her gray. But I went through my stash, and I have some, I don't know how to say this, the Verdant Griffin, and so I have enough of this, and it's sport weight though, and the sweater calls for DK, so I swatched, well, it's not really a swatch, but I practiced on the same size needles to get the the right gauge, whatever. And she loves it. She loves it. I thought it was too loose. I'll put a picture in, because
now
we know that camera.
Her Citadel, is it a darker gray?
It is a much darker. It is a much darker gray. And so anyway, so yes, our daughters are spoiled. She saw
they are.
She's like, what are you gonna make with that yarn that you had dyed? And I showed her, and she goes, I want one of those.
You should have showed her something you knew she wouldn't like. I'm making this.
I should have. So I'll insert a picture, but I also have that in a Bags Bossum granny bag. And I think this is last year's.
That's the last year's Christmas bag
also. So, but I love it.
Well, actually, that wasn't a last year's Christmas bag. That was scraps from the last year's Christmas bag, and I just made you that scrap bag.
I love scrap bags. She's made me a couple of scrap bags, and I do love them. I love scrap bags. Thank you. So yeah, I have that for her. I don't know if I'm going to do them in tandem. I know that mine is going to get more love than hers, because I'm selfish that way. And because I've wanted to make this sweater for forever and ever and ever. And we made a sweater last year. We started, I think, the first week of January. It was for a cow, and we made Citadel. And Darlene has her Citadel, and it's gorgeous. And Paige stole my Citadel. She's like, I love it. And I'm like, yeah, you can have it. Because, we love our children, but she's not getting this one, which is why it has orange in it. Yeah. She's not going to want it. But
that's good.
But she wants a gray one. So I have it swatched, but I don't have it started.
So, speaking of spoiled, rotten daughters, after the podcast last week, or the last one, I was talking about wanting to do this sweater for me. Well, Shyla was like, I really want that sweater, which really surprised me, because I didn't think that this would be like Shyla's.
I wouldn't either.
I would have never picked this for her, but she said she wanted it, but it would be really awesome if it was black.
Oh my God!
So,
you know how much Darlene loves to knit with black.
Yeah.
And what did we say? Didn't we say, I have told my entire family, no more black.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Charlotte, did you not hear that? No more black.
I know. So I got some of the Cloudborn yarn, just like what I got for myself, in black. And then the color work will be these two.
That's beautiful, really. Take a picture.
So
I'll take a picture and insert it.
So I'm going to make Shyla's first, because she's going to be, she's a small. And this one, they're supposed to be negative ease. And so I'm actually gonna make it the what size am I making it? I'm gonna make it. Yeah, I'm gonna make the small. So it's only 1,200 yards. I'm like, I can do this.
Yes.
So
I remember a point in time when we started knitting where we'd be like, 1,200 yards. I can't do that.
And then Carrie and I are, when I get ready to steek it, I'm going to steek it and she's going to film it.
Yep. I'm going to film it and then we can put it in on the podcast. So that will be awesome.
So I haven't started this yet, and I probably won't start it for a couple of weeks because I want to get some like rhythm on my portage. And I did a little bit on it yesterday, and that honeycomb pattern, I have to like do right, left, right, left, right, left.
I do
because
also.
I can't figure out a good way to know where I'm at. And so, I'm hoping that honeycomb part gets easier because it is a bit of a thinker.
I hear that not here. I've read in other Ravelry projects that it does get easier, that it does get mindless. Like people have watched TV with it.
Well, that would be awesome if that actually happens.
Yeah.
Because
then we can work on it even more.
And then so that really wasn't a whip. That was a future,
what a knitter
wants. But I'm making this blanket for my son.
This is crochet.
It's just crochet. And Bruce asked me this morning.
I'll insert a picture.
He said, when do you want to have that finished by? And I said, Thursday. And he said, you better take that to Carrie. Which is not going to be finished by Thursday, but I'll give it to him at Christmas.
It's very soft. It's a Bernat
blanket.
Bernat blanket is the name of the yarn, and it's super soft. We've both made a few crocheted blankets like this for different members of our family, in different colorways and stuff. And I think it's a fairly quick crochet, and it's also a nice mindless thing to have at the end of the day if you're super brain dead.
And if Casey likes this one as much as the one that we made Tim for Christmas last year, it will be a success because Tim loves that blanket.
Tim does love that. Tim won't let anybody else use that blanket.
No. Yeah, and he's like, if Shiloh is covering up with him and she reaches to pull it, he's like, don't pull it from the edge, pull it from the middle. She's
going to ruin it.
He's a very knit-worthy son-in-law.
Yeah.
And knit-worthy, crochet-worthy. He's really good.
I'm also working on Paige's socks. I think I mentioned that I worked on these a little bit. I can show you my progress. This is mustache yarn in the Beetlejuice colorway. Paige loves it. She wanted it to match a green hat that she has. And I'm using Zing needles. I grabbed this like the night before the colonoscopy so I would have something mindless in the waiting room. And I grabbed the wrong size needle. I was supposed to grab 2.5 millimeter and I grabbed 2.75. And I used to knit all my socks on 2.75, but I have become just a little bit looser of a knitter since those days. So most of my socks I do on 2.5. And I can tell, and Darlene can tell, I can feel it. I can feel the little bit of extra, room, and I was, in the waiting room, and I thought, do I even keep going on this? I mean, maybe I should rip it out and, start over, but I saw Paige, and she loves the colorway, and I put it on her foot, and Paige's foot is a tad larger than mine. Not a whole lot larger, but a tad larger than mine, so put it on her foot, and it looks great. She's like, I love it, don't change anything, so I'm gonna keep going on 2.75, but I can feel the little bit more of a looseness. So, but that's okay. She loves it. I
love them. They're so pretty.
She loves it. That's all that matters to me.
Yep.
So
my only other whip is my son's sockhead hat
in her favorite color, black.
Kids are killing me, but I really wish I could just blink and this thing be done, especially the 5 inches of ribbing.
I'll take a picture. I'll insert it.
And then
ribbing on black is not
it's
fun.
just I had to quit working on it yesterday or Friday at work because I didn't have my headlight.
I still have my hat on.
And I couldn't see. I couldn't see the knits and the pearls. So I quit knitting 15 minutes early.
Yeah, she did.
And then this is just Madeline Tosh DK in the onyx color that I'm going to cast on Shyla a Ricky hat.
Oh, Ricky and
I like to have an easy hat, just, if I'm sitting in the car. I don't knit socks, so my easy carry in my purse project is usually hats. Mm-hmm. And Shyla loves hats and Peyton loves hats, so I enjoy, I don't wear that many hats, but they do, and so I like to keep hats, a hat in the
she's more of a hat girl
Going,
than a sock girl.
And only because Shiloh and Peyton love them so much.
Yeah, they do.
You know,
They do love them.
if
so
they
much.
didn't wear them, I certainly wouldn't make them. But so
I think I have one last whip that I think is going to get frogged. So speaking of the green socks for Paige, Paige's favorite color is green, just like Darlene's.
I knew she was awesome.
And in 2 years ago, in 2015, I made her a hat. And it was, it's called the Nordic Lace Hat by Buttons and Beeswax. And I can insert a picture. And she loved it. She wore it. I have pictures of her wearing it. It was great. And we all know that she recently moved. So she moved into her new home and she's unpacking all her boxes. And she comes over to pick Antonio up one day and she says, Mom, I can't find my green hat anywhere. I've unboxed all my boxes. It was in storage. It's winter. It's getting cold. And I can't find my green hat. And I was like, all right, I'll make you another one. So I still had yarn from the first hat and another skein. It's Cascade. It's Sport. I don't think it's 220. I think it's something else. I don't even remember. And I do have the tag here. It's Cascade. It is 220, but it's not the superwash. So it would felt, if washed. So I started it. I did one pattern repeat. I'll insert a picture so you can see the detail. And I'll probably even insert a picture of Paige wearing her first one in 2015.
It looks really good on her.
And she loves this hat, and she wanted socks to match it. And I said, well, I can either buy this in fingering weight, or I have this green. And no, they're not exact match, but there are shades of this green in this sock. And I started this, and then like a week later, she said, Mom, I found my hat. And I said, oh, great, so I don't have to make this for you. She goes, unless you want to. And I thought, well, what do you need two hats for? The same exact hat. Maybe I'll rip it and do a different pattern or something for her. I know she loves the green, but I don't think she...
It is a really pretty shade of green.
Yeah, and I could even just take it back to the ribbing and then just do straight stockinette for a while and just make like maybe a slouch or something hat.
That would be cool.
For her. That would be pretty. But I don't need a thinking hat if she's already got a thinking hat. Don't make me think too much.
Paige, keep that thinking hat on now.
So that'll probably get frogged or turned into something else, or I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I think that's all our whips and finished objects, which is fabulous.
Yeah.
Stash enhancements.
Well, I didn't bring mine only because my only stash enhancement, because I was a little crazy on stash enhancements the last podcast. My only other one is the same one you have, which is our Leading Man Fiber Arts color of the month, and it's called Winter Wonderland.
It's a beautiful skein of yarn, and Leading Man Fiber Arts did a kit with this.
Yeah.
They joined with Fat Squirrel Bags and did a kit, and they added a couple more colors of Leading Man Fiber Arts colors and had a shawl pattern and everything together. And I was watching his podcast, and he says, we only have 120 of them, so gosh, I hope they all sell. In the next podcast, he's like, we sold out in one day. Wow. I'm just not surprised.
That's amazing.
It's very, very
And what's funny is, I did some bags for Lisa Fibernet Dye Works that she's going to put up in her shop next weekend. I made them for her 2 months ago, but they're for her winter kit. And just know, we didn't copy y'all, but one of her bags that I made her 2 months ago is almost the same colors. And it's kind of an Arctic, animals. It's a beautiful bag. But those will go up in her shop in a couple of weeks. Well, next weekend, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So
right after.
And I love Lisa. She's easy to work with, and we've done a couple of things together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she's great.
But congratulations, Stephen, on your kit. selling out like
that's
super fast. Because that's a scary in-depth. It's kind of scary whenever you're doing something like that. But everybody loves Fat Squirrel, and everybody loves Stephen and Andy, so it's a win-win. So
I also have my Desert Vista Dye Works yarn, and this is my prize for doing the Instagram thing. It's the 3rd annual DVD monthly sock club. It has my name, and for the 3rd quarter, my starting Instagram post number was 76, and I ended on 101. And at each little increment, you get like a button, a yarn tag, stitch markers, needle protectors, minis.
Wow.
key fob, a Ravelry pattern, some more minis, and then my most recent is I got a scissors bag and 1 skein of DVD yarn. So she's very, very generous with her giveaways. So I decided to get a DK weight yarn.
I was thinking a while ago when I picked it up, I thought, wow, that feels heavy.
It
I mean,
is.
like thick, thick.
I worked on that, those Wicked Witch of the East socks, which was sport weight, and the Neely Knits sport weight, and I really enjoyed it. And I've made worsted weight socks for Jaime, and they knit up, very quickly in worsted weight. And I thought, I want to do some DK, and this is it colorway, which is like a Michael Jackson documentary colorway, and I love it. I can't wait to start them. It's great. And then, and I'll insert a picture, but my scissors, and then I also got the bag.
That's awesome. What do the scissors
bag.
look like? Oh, those are cute.
Just little, take the top off and
Little snips.
yeah, little snips. So that's my Instagram prizes. So thank you,
Beautiful.
Susan.
Yeah,
I love
I
them.
didn't bring my stitch markers you got us.
Oh, I did. I'm going to have to insert a picture of this. I think I have a close-up. So I joined Knit Stars this year. I think I've mentioned it before when I showed some stash enhancements before. And it started October 16th or something like that. And there's a bunch of different designer teachers, and you watch a video on it. And you can watch it either live when they're like doing it the first day or whatever. Or, I don't think it's live, but the first day it's released, or later, or 100 times more whenever you want to. You can log in. And one of the designers, I think it was Laura Nelkin, was knitting on lace, and as she was doing a demonstration, she had a tiny little like heart or oval or something on her needles for the lace part. And she said, I found that if you have a non-circular stitch marker on your needles for the lace, it helps to keep, like if you have a yarn over before a pattern repeat, or the yarn over is the first stitch of the pattern repeat, sometimes that yarn over can go on
over
either side of the stitch marker, and it
can mess you up.
It can mess you up. So I ordered these from Fripperies and Bibelots. I don't know. I think it came from the UK. But I have little flowers. I mean, these are kind of big. These are flowers. And then I have tiny little hearts.
I actually have the flowers on Bruce's Ranger.
And so this is for bigger needle size and a smaller needle size. And I'll insert a picture so you can see the zoom. But I did get us some stitch markers. That was part of my stash enhancements. And I think I have one other. You're done with stash enhancements.
Well, I have one. Well, I have a item that's not a stash enhancement. Can I show it?
Yeah.
Carrie bought me this cup. I love it so much because I've been admiring the one that Nina did for Carrie. And
it's got little sheep, and
has
then it
sheep
says
and stuff. So
her Ravelry name, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I showed mine. Mine's white and red, and it says Knitfomaniac with sheep a few podcasts ago, and I know Darlene loved it.
I just love it. I can't wait to use it. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
So you're very, very welcome. Very welcome.
But Carrie will put a link to Nina's shop. Nina is my nephew Shannon's girlfriend, and she has this business where she does this kind of stuff. And she's doing a lot of like Christmas ornaments and
she's got a lot of she's got mugs and cups. But
I just love the cup.
Christmas ornaments and all sorts of stuff.
I'm excited to use it.
Very cute personalized stuff. My last stash enhancement is something that Darlene bought me. And I don't know how many of you knitters out there love tea, but I love tea.
We both love tea.
Tea is a big part of my life. So Darlene got me the David's Tea Advent calendar. Yes, I have already drank number one.
Have you only drank number one?
Only one.
Okay.
Only one. Judge me. I don't care. But I love it. You get to open a new box, every day, and it's got a sample of tea. It says on the back what it is, and she even gave me the matching mug for it. So when you put hot water in this mug, this little wolf guy down here, this black, well, he's not black, but he's like a dark gray, he turns white.
Does the stars turn, like these black stars, do they turn white also?
I don't think I've paid attention, but I will. I don't know if the stars do or not. I do know that the wolf does. And I'll put a zoomed in picture on that. And I have to mention that I didn't know that I would love this thing so much, but last year my mom received one as a gift.
I think it's awesome.
And she, she tried it, and I ended up getting this one from her. And I've, of course, used them all. I saved all the little jar things, or whatever you want to call them. But it's just the greatest idea ever. And I don't know how long David's Tea has been doing this, but if you love tea and you're open to new flavors and tastes, want to find something else that you like, this is a great way to do it, because, there's 24 different flavors here. And yeah, there's going to be a couple that you're like, not for me. But I found that I liked almost all of them last year. So I'm really looking forward to December 2nd, because I already opened number 1.
You should go ahead and use them. You don't have to save them till Christmas.
I think it's kind of fun, to do like a little countdown to Christmas. So, have a little cup of tea each time. So
well, I'm glad you like it.
I love it.
I think it's pretty cool. So.
It is cool. Thank you so much. I love it. Sorry about that, but it is a great way to try all the tea and stuff. And I just noticed this, but even the little white wolf is here on the, I'll take a picture, put it in there on the cover thing, and I love it. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you love it.
So what else did we have?
That's all I have. Oh, I mean, besides shop stuff, that's all I have. But
we do have our first ever Cal up in the group, a thread in the Ravelry group. It's for one skein. It's called a one skein Cal, but you can do more than one skein. Just don't do less than one skein. Any weight, any kind, whatever you want to do, you can enter multiple times. If you want to put a sweater in there that took 20 skeins, you can. If you want to put a hat in there that took one skein, you can, just so long as it's one skein or more. And we're going to start that New Year's Eve, because I know a lot of people, like, after Christmas, all your Christmas knitting is done, and you're ready to do something else or do something for yourself or whatever. And I didn't want to make everybody wait until New Year's Day, so I thought, well, New Year's Eve cast on.
New Year's Eve will be good.
It's a good cast on. I think a lot of people enjoy ringing in the new year, I guess. We don't do anything for New Year's Eve, but ringing in the new year with the cast on. So,
but and Thanksgiving's next week. What are your Thanksgiving plans?
So I go to my aunt's house. My aunt is crazy because she has about 35 people.
That's where you get it.
I think I get it other places, but I think we have like a 35 count this year.
Oh my goodness.
So we have a very large family, and so everybody coming, and people are, I'm older and I've got my own kids. Well, now my kids have their own kids, and so there's more and more people and everything. And we also get airmen every year. So servicemen in the military, I know that you have to go through some background checks for it and stuff, but it's pretty strict. But we've been doing it for as long as I can remember.
That's pretty awesome.
Uncle George goes to the base at butt crack of dawn and picks them up. I think they have to be back by 4. So we eat pretty early. We eat at like 1, and we get to know them and meet them and everything, because they can't be with their family. We've met people from Michigan and all over the United States, from different parts, and see how much they like Texas, and have you ever had this hot of a Thanksgiving outside, and things of that nature. But it's a lot of fun, and so we each make a dish. And I make a couple, and my parents make a couple, and everybody contributes and brings turkey or mashed potatoes or whatever, and then we all dig in. But she is crazy to have that many people at her house.
Well, we have I have a small house. My house is about 1,400 square feet, and we always have a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but like this year, my nephew and brother always come. Shyla and her family always come, and this year my son is actually coming with his family, and everybody spends the night because we do a lot of drinking on Thanksgiving night, so no one's allowed to leave. But my son-in-law is actually going to bring his RV over this year, and it sleeps 10. So we won't have to have air mattresses up all over the house. So that's
for you to trip over when you're inebriated.
That's going to be awesome. So
that will be awesome.
So we'll have, it's just immediate family, just my kids and their families, and my brother and my nephew, and Bruce and I, and everybody's dogs.
Of course,
because
dogs are the most important.
But no hamsters, turtles, or cage type animals, are coming.
No rodents.
No rodents. But so it's crazy, and we usually have a fire out in the fire pit outside and sit outside
Billy
and
made
drink.
The fire
Billy
pit.
made,
yeah, so that's awesome.
And we sit outside and we drink, and we sometimes we'll have gummy bears, kids gummy bears and adult gummy bears.
The adult gummy bears are made with
tequila.
They're
soaked in tequila. And it's like, no, kids, you can't have those gummy bears. Those are the adult gummy bears.
Yeah.
But so,
that's fun.
But it's fun. We have a good time. So, Thanksgiving is our favorite holiday, and it's funny that you asked Peyton what her favorite holiday is, and she even says Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. She loves.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. It's fun.
It is a lot of fun.
But I'll be dead after next week. But
no, you won't.
And I'll be behind on my sweater, but that's okay. Maybe I can get a lot done on Casey's blanket.
Yeah, well, family is fun.
It's once a year, and
it is.
we have
once a year. Fall a little behind, and
we have a good time. I can get it caught up,
or we can adjust the spreadsheet or whatever.
We're trying to get finished with our portage in 50 days because we want to wear it.
Mm-hmm. We do want to wear it, and Texas has a winter of about 24 hours.
And if we don't have to be to be honest with, it's really more than that because it's so cold in our building. We can wear the sweater anytime
year round.
But if we don't have a calendar, things tend to languish.
Right, because we're not monogamous.
We're not.
We try, but we're not always monogamous.
And we're more if we're working on something for Paige or Shyla or Shannon or Bruce or your dad. Things get done faster than they do if it's for ourselves.
Well, in her instance, I'm selfish. So.
No, you're not.
I feel like it sometimes.
No, you're not.
But I think that's it.
I think that's it for me too. Looking at I even made notes and everything.
I made some notes and stuff. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I've been making bread.
Oh yeah.
So I don't have it down pat, and my grandfather, my mom's dad, was a baker in Germany. He owned a bakery, and I remember when I was a little kid and watching him with this mound of flour, and he would make this. Almost look like a volcano, and he'd add stuff to the top, and then start mixing it, and kneading the bread and the whole 9 yards, and made fabulous bread. And of course he's passed, and I've never made bread before, so I wanted to give it a shot, and I've gotten a few different recipes and stuff. And so I was telling my mom the other day, I said, do you have any of Opa's recipes? Because my bread that I'm making, it's really dense. Don't get me wrong, it's delicious. I love it. Slap some butter on that sucker, clog up my arteries, and I'm good to go. It is good. Fresh out of the oven, hot, I love it. I'm enjoying every bit of it. But I kind of want more of a fluffy, a fluffier bread, and so I kind of
a lighter bread.
And so I said, maybe it should have a couple holes in it or something. And my mom
Swiss cheese bread.
Yeah, my mom looked at it. She goes, all I know is my daddy used to say, if there's a hole in your bread, the baker did something wrong. And I thought, well, okay,
you must be doing it right then.
I must be doing it right then. But in Germany, it's called a Brötchen. I haven't had a Brötchen in years. Now we have some bread rolls here. I think they're called bolillos. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it the double L a Y or bolillos, or I don't know, but they're close. A nice crispy outside, but more of a fall apart inside, not so dense. So bottom line is, if any of you guys have some great recipes that you want to share with me, hit me up. I'd love to have them.
Yeah, I gave Carrie my mother-in-law's bread recipe, and it's a large recipe, and Carrie's it makes tons of bread.
I was like, how often do you make this? This thing is huge. And she usually doubles it.
Yeah, because, I make it at Thanksgiving, I make it at Christmas, and whenever I was a ranch cook and I was cooking for 50 cowboys a day, at a meal, that was the recipe I used, and it is a big recipe, but it's the only bread recipe I make because it's the one my mother-in-law gave me. Mm-hmm. So
anyway, I've been enjoying that, but Anyway, I think that's all we have for our regular podcast. We do have some shop news for Darlene that we're going to do. So for any of you that don't want to hear the shop news, thanks for tuning in. And have a great and happy and wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye. So I don't have a lot of new, but I did have a couple of old that I still wanted to bring. I still have some of this Christmas. I'm back.
I too love this. My favorite is, of course, the wiener
I
dog.
love mine too, and that's actually, this is my favorite Christmas bag.
Darlene has, her dog Susie is a wiener dog, and my dog Baby, who passed last year, she was a wiener dog. So we are partial to
we are weenie dog people.
Wiener dogs, and I'll take pictures of all this fabric because
So
the zooming doesn't work very well.
So I still have that one in stock, and I have restocked my Nutcracker, but then this is the last time. Once it's gone, it's gone. So I probably will have about 5 sets of this to put up, or some mediums, and then it will be gone. And then this is a new bag. Will be a new bag. I think it's so cute. It's Rams.
Oh, that is cute.
And that'll be a new one that'll probably go. It may not hit the shop until after Thanksgiving, just because we've got some orders we've got to get out, and then we're gonna have company all next week. So, and then look how cute this is. It's got little critters on it. I can't tell if it's upside down or...
Well, I think it's also folded.
Yeah,
but I think it goes both ways.
But it's got cows and like little hand drawings of cows and pigs and horses and stuff. I just think it's the cutest thing.
It is cute.
And
put pictures in.
And then the other one is just a hat, hat box.
Look at those pretty hats. Pretty hats.
But once my Christmas bags, once they're gone, they're gone. I mean, like my, I have a couple that's gone, like the guinea pigs with the Santa hats, they're gone, and a couple other ones are gone. So these I'm hoping to be gone soon.
Gone soon.
So, and that's all. That's it.
That's it.
And I had to bring material just because I haven't had time to get, I've been working on orders and stuff, and
to get the bags made.
And so I just brought the material because, I wanted to show what is coming and what we still have. And then I still have this Christmas bag. This one. I still have this one in the shop.
Beautiful red with the sunny bright yellow inside, which again I'll take a picture of to insert.
And that's it.
Well, if you stayed this long to see all of this, we also want to wish you a very wonderful and Thanksgiving with your family, or however you decide to do it, alone or just with your significant other or what have you. And I guess we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep. Enjoy. Bye. Thank you.